Welcome on this webinar, which is going to be about how turning your insights into conversion. So if you don't hear us, do not hesitate to send us a message on the platform. So today I'm with Xavier de Colombel, who is the Data Strategy Director of Weborama.
Hello.
And I'm Capucine Oppenheim, the Communication Manager of Weborama France. So first of all, I'm going to present you the concept of AI semantic, and then Xavier will illustrate it with a business case of one of our clients, which is a leading luxury company. So for confidentiality reasons, we cannot communicate the name of this client. So before developing this business case, you probably want to know more about what is the semantic AI and why. So the semantic AI is a way of qualifying and understanding a web user palatable in a passive approach, followed by web users navigation, which doesn't require the conscious activity of web users regarding to our models. So all of that also makes a lot of meaning in a relationship, relationship to the affinity for brands and for brand assets. So the relationship to the advertising is growing a lot as digital is really present in our lives, and our aversion to advertising is also growing a lot. So it is really important to move towards this precision marketing, which is an advertising discernment that we conduct toward each other. So talking only when necessary to the right person at the right time and about the right offer is more and more important for brands today. So in Weborama, which is the leading European company specialized in semantic AI, our promise to our clients is to allow them to sell more at a lower cost and in real time. So to do so, we work on 4 solutions that are represented on the screen with the 4 red pillars. So the first one is the insights, the second one segmentation, then activation, and finally the measurement. So to do that, we based our solutions on 2 strong assets that you can see on the bottom of the screen. So the first one is the data science and our technologies, and the other one is the people who work in Weborama. So to develop these the 3 unique assets, the first one is about AI semantic AI. In other words, the science of words, which is really key to understand the consumers. The other one is our scored database, and also our different data technologies with our DMP and our ad server. And the last one, as I said right before, is a really important asset for Weborama is the people who work with us. So all of these people are experts in data science, consumer knowledge, programmatic activation, digital marketing, etc. So in Weborama, we can crawl. We have a unique methodology. So first of all, we can crawl a huge volume of content. So you have to know that in Weborama, URL is not our key point, but the words are. So words are going to be extracted and disconnected from URLs, and then they're gathered in homogeneous semantic world, which represents interest or affinity. When I say affinity, it can be affinity for a brand or a product. So it is what we can call the NLP, so the natural language processing. NLP means fixing problems automatically and creating algorithm to add some intelligence in this word cloud to transform them then in homogeneous semantic clusters. You can see in the middle of the screen. So this step is going to allow to identify 200 to 300 main internet users' interest. Then we're going to look at what this profile consume on the internet. So in other words, to which word clouds they're going to be exposed through the pages that they visit. So Weborama established an affinity scoring between all of these profiles and all of the internet that that we have built with our different solutions. Each profile from the Weborama database have a score from 0 to 20 according to intention criteria and interest. So usually in other solutions, there's a binary, which means that there's only two options, 0 or 1. In Weborama, the scorings, which goes from 0 to 20, allows to operate a very, very precise management between volumes and performance. So in the Weborama database, a profile on interest given will see its score continuously improve, and so become a very palatable profile on a particular subject, or in another case, see its palatable decrease on another subject. So this concept is very, very interesting to observe. For example, a key life event like a removal trend. So you can follow the profile proximity linked to this key life event, precise event. So in other words, the strength of the Weborama model and of the AI semantic AI, is that thanks to the mathematical and the methodological process, we can translate words, as you can see on the left of the screen, in population on the right of the screen, which are going to become extremely precise and powerful marketing scenario. So the solution that Weborama built for more than 20 years are able to crawl 2 billion web pages in like 8 languages. That gives us some touch points with 1 billion profiles. So this 1 billion profiles correspond to the size of the Weborama database in the entire world. So to conclude, more than 1 billion qualified consumer profiles with different interest level. And if you look at the square with the infinity symbol, it means that beyond this 200 interests that we continuously handle, the power of this concept is to build this approach on every interest according to specific companies' needs, and being able to customize and to give an exclusive approach according to strategic issue of different companies. So in Weborama, our clients come from any kind of industry. I would say that the main one are probably the automotive, retail, media, or even banking and insurance. We have more than 400 clients in the world, and Weborama has 8 offices also in the world, as you can see on the screen: Paris, Amsterdam, Madrid, etc. And we also operate in 30 countries. So now I'm gonna let Xavier develop the business case of one of our clients, which is a leading luxury company.
Thanks, Gabriel. I hope everything was clear, so that we can start directly talking concretely about the value that Weborama is adding for its clients. So basically, the idea of this business case is to wonder how all this semantic artificial intelligence we've been developing for years at Weborama is actually bringing value to clients, and how we can help even luxury companies, companies who are not usually working a lot with data, to increase their value and improve the way they're working on their marketing strategies. So I guess you've all seen this sentence. It's been used way too much in different conferences, so apologies for using it again, but it's really, really relevant for our use case, right? We all know this sentence: half of my marketing budget is wasted, but the problem is I don't know which one. The idea of Weborama helping this luxury company here is actually to define where is the waste in the marketing spend. Starting with results first, before explaining how we did it, let's look at what we did. This project actually was a test and helped us to understand the value of third-party data versus first-party data of the clients. So as you can see, we've had results very good results. We've been working better with data than without data. plus 100%. So that's very interesting first result, although it's like the basics. Our data has been working as good as the CRM data that we've been using, and the potential ROI, you'll see how we compute it, how we estimate it, would be around 4. So it's a super interesting use case. And I hope you feel the same at the end of the presentation, right? Okay, so let's start. Basically, in the luxury industry, you have three main, at the beginning of this project, we had three main concerns. First one was, okay, it's interesting to talk about semantics. It's interesting to talk about how intelligent everything is at Weborama, but actually, does it help me as a luxury brand to identify people and to reach them on target afterwards? So that's the first question we have. And it wasn't an easy question because, as I said, and as you can imagine, luxury brands are not very fond of third-party data because of, thanks to all the work and the amazing job they've done on building their own CRM, they are so proud of what they've done and one on their clients that they are maybe a bit suspicious with third-party data at first. So that was the first concern, and thankfully, you'll see it was successful at the end. Then it's interesting, if I answer my first question, then I have a second one. Okay, I can identify people, probably, but can this bring enough volume for making something relevant in the media ecosystem? Because my main problem as a luxury brand is the fact that my CRM database, even though it's a highly variable database, it's very small in terms of volume, and that's actually the very meaning of my business, right? Having a small CRM database. And then, if we answer this question, the very last question is, okay, I've identified people. Probably I can identify enough people, but then the very last question is, are these people relevant to my business? Does this increase my performance, or is it just another option that's not adding value? So that was the landscape at the beginning of the project, and we'll see how we answered each of these three questions successfully. So Capucine has been talking about semantic AI. You'll see here the very first results. We've been launching our tool. So here you have an example about the French case. We've been launching our example with this brand, which is not Rolex, as you may be wondering. But we've been launching the semantic AI in order to identify what was the semantic universe around the brand, around its competitors, and so that we can then identify people. The tool is allowing us to identify the key assets of each brand based on what we can observe on the web and all the links between some key characteristics and some brands. So as you can see on the right side, for instance, Rolex was associated with design, and that was one of the main insights we could draw from this. But main point is this slide, right? Thanks to semantic AI, we've been able to identify a luxury community on the web. So a community we've called luxury lovers with our clients, allowing us to say that these 2 million people on the left side of the screen here, these 2 million profiles actually can be called luxury lovers and will probably make sense for me as targeting purposes in my next media campaign. Then we also added two more usual ways of identifying relevant targets, which were lookalike modeling based on the client's website and based on the CRM database that we've been onboarding with a partner. And thanks to this, we were able to segment 6 million different profiles and to push them for media targeting. So what about the media here? It was in France. So this advertiser was used to work with premium publishers, obviously, which you have on the screen for French publisher lovers, right? And the creative was a video. So it was a 15-second video, both mobile and desktop. And the key KPI we were screening here was the completion rate. So the question we'll be asking to the data is, okay, we can see that we are able to identify up to 6 million luxury lovers. So that was question number one. Can I actually identify people? And number two, Is this enough volume for me? I would say that 6 million starts to be something interesting in terms of media. Then the last question is this increasing my value, my total value on the campaign? And so to assess that, we'll be having a precise look at the completion rate. This is a media KPI, of course, and not a sales KPI, but as you can imagine, not many people would buy luxury products directly online. So as a first step, we were observing media KPIs, and then with different projects, we are looking at directly offline sales afterwards. So let's have a look at it. And this will be the only figures you'll see, so don't worry, I won't take you through many technical details, right? The thing you need to understand is we have a very first filter of the campaign, which is in order to fall into the exposed population, you need to be visiting at least one of these 4 different publishers. Okay, so that's a very first contextual filter that was usually implemented by the publisher and its media agency. What we decided to do was to build this luxury lover community. And after the campaign, what we observed is that among all the people that were exposed to the campaign, almost half of them were what we say no data people. So not belonging to the CRM, not belonging to the visitors, and not belonging to all these 6 million different profiles that we were able to identify with our different semantic techniques. So that's kind of answering, you maybe remember this first slide about half of my budget is wasted. Here, we are able actually to identify half of the budget that was spent on a population that is a priori underqualified versus overqualified population with CRM, website, and third-party data. So what about this overqualified population? As we said in the beginning, key point with luxury brands is that they don't have many digital touchpoints with their final clients. So among the 56% of the exposed people who were qualified with data, only 1% of them were qualified with first-party data, which means 99% of the population, the qualification of populations with data was done through third-party data. So this is the very first interesting point, saying that if this data proves to be relevant, actually it can help me to have a very high reach and qualified reach. So now let's look at the completion rate, right? If you follow the funnel, you go from just living in France to being exposed to the campaign, and then we want to assess how many of them actually went through the full video. If we look first at the non-data people, among all these people, only 27% of them went through the full video. So completion rate, average completion rate was 27%. So this is a benchmark. And we'll see now how much we can increase this completion rate thanks to data. Among the first-party data, we can increase, we can almost double this KPI, going from 27% up to 54% with CRM data. So what we're saying here is that the fact of actually being already a customer of the brand helps you to double the completion rate on this subpopulation. So this is a higher benchmark, and this is like the roof that we will try to reach with third-party data. So now the question is, how high can we go with third-party data? And depending on different subsegments within the third-party data, within the luxury lovers, we've been able to reach completion rates from 42% up to 54%. So the question, the very last questions, that was, okay, is this luxury community lovers helping me to add some value and to increase my media KPIs and in the end my sales? The answer is yes, because third-party data here, after optimizations, of course, has been able to reach KPIs that were almost as high as CRM and first-party data. So we were very happy with these results. That was not an easy project, but at the end, I think the value was proved. And this is the results you've seen in the beginning. So going from 27% up to 54% from zero data with data, having performances with data that are equal to the CRM performance, and then an ROI that you can estimate up to 4 compared with no data strategy. So I hope this was a concrete example, and I hope it helped you understand a bit better what we do here at Weborama. Feel free to answer any questions now. I think you have a chat area on the webinar. We'll be happy to answer. So one question was, what's the length of the video, the duration of the video? And that was a 15-second video. So kind of a short video, but the question is mainly whatever the duration of the video, the important thing is to see that everyone was exposed to the exact same video, but reactions were very different depending on the subsegment you were belonging to. But thanks for the question. Okay, probably that was all clear. You have contact information on this very last slide, so feel free to ask questions on one-to-one or even to ask for a call. We'll be happy to tell you how much we can probably help with your different businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you.